Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. I put out the fire from the last time. But cool things ahead of us today. I'm planning on a little bit more with the Mac because, yeah, HP's technician went on vacation for like 3 days. And, oh, God, just don't ever get an HP. Boom. You knew it. I knew it. But when someone says, hey, we'll send you this $5,000 Xeon for free, Titus, sounds like a good deal. Just make a video. It's like, yeah, let's go. That sounds great. I love Xeons. Idiot. Gosh. Anyways, fun. But that's getting fixed eventually. Where the part came in, technician said part came in. Another technician's gonna come by sometime and drop off the part. In the meantime, I ordered a bunch of stuff off Amazon and we're gonna set up a backup system. So Monday's happening because we're sticking to the schedule. I know you're thinking, Titus, you're terrible with schedules. The start time was like an hour ago and you're just now starting. And I was like, I know, I'm getting better, right? But Monday, Linux. Tuesday, Windows. Thursday, Mac. I love this. I think as I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna stream today kind of thing. I was like, you know, because I'm pretty much bipolar at this point when it comes to streaming. I was like, this is actually a good deal because then it forces me to hit every operating system every week for a day. And I think that's just a good thing. Now, whether or not I just sit there and yap to chat the entire time, well, depends on the day. Today, there's probably gonna be a lot of yap, and let's just not even let's not even talk about that. I think it's you guys know what's up. Second thing, MacUtil, looked at it a little bit yesterday. The big thing with MacUtil and why it sucks, because it's on version 0.2. I put in a little bit of time on it. Big thing there, it uses sudo terminal and it relies on a terminal already being open and launching the application within the terminal. Most Mac users don't even know there's a terminal built into Mac, much less how to use the damn thing. So obviously that's not gonna work. Big thing we have to do there is bake in a real terminal inside the application so then I can use that. Is that possible in F#? I don't know. And your next question that I know chat's gonna say right off, why aren't you using Swift? Swift is the Mac language. Because it's a Mac language. I'm not gonna use Swift. Ugh, gross. Because I can, that's why. So that's why. So we'll figure out some terminal hackery wizardry that we need to do to make that happen. I know people are always like, oh, well, this is the way, this is how everyone uses it. You know what? You can take your TypeScript, JavaScript, and just go fly a kite somewhere else because nay. We use just weird languages that no one likes here. If you don't like the language, I'm gonna use it just because you don't like it. That's how I roll. And you might be thinking, Titus, that's not a good way to make money. And I'm like, we're here for edutainment. You might learn something, but more often than not, I'm just here to really be your dancing monkey. And that's kind of the idea of the streams, and to have fun. At the end of the day, it's all about having fun. And this is how I have fun. I know, I'm crazy. I'm a little bit warped, probably a little mentally deranged. But it adds a little bit of flair to it. Now, the other thing people are gonna probably mention, hasn't been mentioned in chat yet, chat's slipping, my hair. Yeah. Gonna be cosplaying as Sam Bankman-Fried this Halloween, so I got about another 6 weeks of growth to go. And then, watch out, crypto tweets are coming on that. So yeah, look out. Hair, we're gonna get high. It's just gonna be like a giant fro. Albert Einstein levels is what I'm gonna be going for. It's gonna be amazing. Am I missing anything else? Chat, speak up or forever hold your peace, because otherwise we're going to get right into the desktop. I don't see anything. People just talking about Taylor Swift. Weirdos. Anyways, let's get on the desktop and we'll get going on some Mac Util. Oh, Tahoe. Ah. Goodness gracious. Holy smokes. I tell you, I probably shouldn't have watched the tech news before live streaming. I think I channeled my inner Riley with that intro. That guy's weird, but I really like him from LTT. The tech news with him, he's just got this weird thing about him, and it just rubs off on you. It's a good thing though. All right. Let's see. So first off, oh yeah, I've been doing, actually drummer, I've been doing the CrossFit thing for 3 years now, almost 3 years, close to 3 years. It'll be 3 years in November. Oh yeah, old macOS, you know, I hate it, but it's consistent. It's consistent hate. And I never really gotten used to it to the point where I'm like, I really missed my Mac. Nope. Still hate it. It's been a while. And it still sucks. But in the meantime, I'm relatively good with it. I actually was certified in Mac. I think it was like Mac OS 10. And that would have been, no, it would have been before 10. I think it was, no, it was 10. I think it was Tiger. Which edition was Tiger? 1 second here. Let's go. Just pull it in here. What was Mac OS Tiger before I say something that is wrong? Was it 10.4? Okay, yeah. It's now 20 years old. Yeah, so that was right as the transition to Intel from PowerPC was happening. That's when I got certified. So I'm actually a certified Mac technician, if you didn't know. I don't know what the certification was called. I would have to look it up if it's even still in their system. But yeah. And I have like a gajillion Microsoft certifications. Just a stupid amount. That's why I know so much about Microsoft. Who knew? And then Linux. I don't have one Linux certification. I think with Linux, I always used it for back-end stuff. Works great for it. But the book's going to be coming out soon. The Linux book's close to publication. First edition's going to be heading your way this next month. Oh yeah. I am losing it. But I do like the Monday Linux, Tuesday Windows, Thursday Mac. I really feel like we're on to something. Cause I watch a lot of other stuff. And the one thing that's consistent, whenever I watch someone enough, I'm always kind of like, yeah, okay, I get what they're doing. But I'm kind of bored of that. You should switch it up a little bit. And I think with this, we're going to have enough variety that it's just going to really take things to the next level. Why is Linux so goddamn attractive? Well, Silk, I will tell you right now why that's the case. Because you can do whatever the hell you want. It's like saying, what's the difference between sitting on a beach somewhere where you can just go do anything and sitting in a prison cell? I mean, with the prison cell, you know what the bars look like, you know what the wall looks like, you know what your bed looks like, and nothing ever changes. Why would you ever want to go sit on a beach somewhere? Yeah, that's why Linux is so attractive. It's the beach. Just made that off the top of my head. I thought that was pretty good. I'm feeling a little spicy today, too. All right. Can we switch to Linux on Tuesdays, please? Well, the problem with switching to Linux on Tuesdays, Dan, is, well, Monday Windows, like, I'm already going to be kind of in a bad mood because it's Monday. You know, everybody gets a case of the Mondays. And putting Windows on Monday, I'm just going to be angry all the time during a Monday stream. Now, you might think that might be entertaining, but I think I'm going to just get really angry and start making fun of people in chat. And that's just not going to be good for retention. So I think we shouldn't do the Windows on Mondays. That's the only thing where I'm like, I would love to do Windows on Mondays, but I really feel like I would just be absolutely a hostile entity, like full on terrible. So that's why I do Tuesdays. Oh, I got you, Dan. Oh man. Well, for you, Dan, I don't think have we put it in stone or anything? I mean, should we just lean into it? I mean, Dan's been following for a couple months. Should we adjust the schedule? Here, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll, and then we'll find out. Dan, I leave it in the community's hands here. As soon as I figure out how to switch my workspace again. All right, let's go straw poll. And we will create one. And we will go, do we want Windows on Monday or Tuesday? And I'll put Monday, Tuesday. One vote per IP. Ban VPN users. No, what are we, the government? Come on. Let's share this to you all. And God, that animation. It's just sickening. It is just sickening. I never am going to get used to this copy paste on Mac, but well, you know, we got to include the YouTube folks too. YouTube is, yeah, they're second class citizens, but I still care about the YouTube viewers. I just don't want to hear them chat unless they're a member. I think, how many viewers? Oh, we got 150 viewers on YouTube. So I want to include the YouTube viewers as well. They do exist. I acknowledge them. I just locked down their chat. Although they could get on Chat Arena and do it as well. Here, I'm going to give you one for Tuesday, Dan, just for you, brother. Let's see the live results as they come in. Oh, man. It is a tight race. Oh, boy. It is a very tight race. Oh, no. It's Coding Wonders message. Did I miss it? I'll pull it up here. Let's see. Let's go here. What do we got? Coding Wonders. Where's he at? Oh, since you want to have some fun, I'm going to break this schedule a bit and quiz you on Windows knowledge. It will be fun. Invalid dynamic link. You still using Firebase? Oh, which of these actual value types can a registry be? Quantum. Oh, man. Not expand. I don't think it's multi-SZ either. There is a multi-string one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I almost want to lean towards expand. But nah, I think it's multi. Let's go multi. Do you know about React OS? Yeah, it's like a Windows 2000 variant. It's kind of cool. What did Brian Eno compose a Windows startup for Windows release? I'm going to say that sounds like Windows XP, maybe. Oh, what did he compose? The do-do-do-do. And then also the blah, 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 blah. It's terrible. I have zero music talent. So I don't know what is that sound. I want to say Windows XP startup. Yeah, let's go Windows XP. Oh, Win. Oh, okay. 2002. Maybe earlier. When did WMI, MMC, Active Directory, and Group Policy get introduced? I don't think they all got introduced at the same time, and it definitely is not Windows 98. This would have been NT, which is not on here. So I think this is actually a problem with the actual way this is done. And I want to say these were staggered. So NT was probably one of the originators of most of these, but 2000 would probably be the closest to when most of them all were introduced together in a cohesive way. The Windows registry is like a digital tree. Tree got oil and toxic waste dumped on it. It's a file-based hierarchy. It's a key value-based settings hierarchy. It breaks Windows when you delete. Well, that's true. The name type database settings hierarchy. That's a key value-based hierarchy. Okay. What is a type? What type of hypervisor is Hyper-V? It's a type 1 hypervisor, actually. Type 2 is like software-based. Think VMware. Think, God, what's the one I freaking hate? VirtualBox. God, Oracle can go die in a fire. That's just an absolute terrible invention. God, what components do I need to add to an answer file to make devices join the ADDS domain? I need to add to make to the answer file. Let's see. You're going to need DNS for sure. Terminal services and that. I don't know. I've never actually manually added these components. I've only removed components from an ISO on this front, but I probably would. You could do, you don't necessarily need to do unattended, but I typically would if I was setting up like an image, master image for a business. I probably would also add terminal services and probably security. Sure, that sounds good. If you know, you know. Where does firstrun.ps1 come from? I don't know on that one. We could cheat, but I'm not going to cheat on that one. I'm going to just say I don't know. That's a good question. What's wrong with VirtualBox? It's a Type 2 hypervisor and it's slow as balls. That's why. Was XP 64-bit edition a 64-bit? Yeah, it was. It came really late. Like most people don't realize, XP 64-bit edition came, I think it came after the general release of Vista. I used 64-bit edition for a good couple years there because it was so fast. It was really fast. But you also had during this era a big problem with 32-bit and 64-bit. Who led Windows NT development and VM's RSX 11M? Ooh. I don't know. I don't like Dave Plummer. If you put Dave Plummer here, I'm gonna smack you. Most of the stuff Dave Plummer say he did, he didn't do. Guy's a fraud. That's why he had to pay the state of Washington $400,000 in the mid-2000s because he infected millions of people. I had to remove a lot of his malware, by the way. The more you know. So I'm not going to answer that question. I have a little bit of disdain for a lot of these legacy Microsoft engineers. In the last question, did I say something positive or negative? Screw you and bringing up old Windows engineers. Windows 10 support ends in less than 3 weeks. What can you do to stay safe? Stay on Windows 10. You won't get any more updates. No, the correct answer, switch to Linux. How do you automate a set of commands in Windows 3.1? Automate a set of commands.
Oh, auto exec's the startup file. Task scheduler, I don't know if that was around. Startup folders is not the right scheme for Windows 3.1. HKLM, software Microsoft Windows current run, probably would be it. Because this is the startup. Yeah, if it's on startup, then autoexec.bat would probably be the answer. I would say autoexec.bat because I'm not sure. I think registry was... I'm trying to think of if I did regedit back in those days. I would have been a teenager at this time for Windows 3.1. Oof, yeah. Yeah, Windows 3.1 didn't have a registry. That's what I thought. Registry came about Windows 95 era, and 95 was buggy as shit. Holy crap, bugs everywhere. Now, chat, here's a fun one. What's more buggy than Windows 95? You can't say Windows 98 first edition. That doesn't count.
Yeah, well.
What's the answer?
To do the vibes.
Abs, thanks for the gifted subs, brother. Chat knows. Chat knows. Oh, ME is the correct answer here. Millennium Edition was an absolute hot mess of a system. If you are not familiar with Millennium Edition, it's like the only Windows release where running updates made things worse. It caused more blue screens. It is the reason why Windows 2000 was just considered the ultimate best. I would say the best edition of Windows ever made would have been Windows 2000 Workstation. Absolutely amazing piece of software, written by the Windows NT team before it got tainted by the 98 team. And, you know, everyone has rose-colored glasses of XP, but let's not pretend that XP was a good release. It was not. You are misremembering. You need to remember. Well, it depends on your point of view. At the time, Windows XP was a money printer for me. God, look at all the malware. Look at all the malware. Everyone made bank during Millennium Edition, or well, XP era was like the money printer era for all computer techs. Anyways, Millennium Edition was the proper answer there. What is Microsoft best known for in operating system design when it comes to these applications? They limit you to run apps made in Windows 10 and newer on Windows 11. Let's see. They include a VDM on 32-bit system that lets you run Windows 1.0 applications. I've never... Like the compatibility agent built into Windows, I'm not sure the back end of it, how that works. I can't answer it. I don't effing know. When did Bill Brown compose Windows sounds for the Windows release? 1995. Final answer. What platforms was NT ported to in the 90s? Oh, gosh. Probably MIPS, PowerPC. We'll see. I'm not a very hardware guy. Never been a hardware guy. Although I did get Stone tablets. Yeah, I did get all my hardware in for the other fallback system. So we can do that. The System Control Manager, SCM, defines 5 startup types for a Windows service device driver. What are the startup types? You only live once. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's great. Manual, disabled, automatic. You got... Oh, it's 5. It's 5. What's the 5th one here? No. These are all wrong. Question is worded wrong. It's 4 startup types. Auto delayed critical is not part of that drop down, and maybe it's like a hidden option. This is a little bit of a trick question. final answer. I'm going to leave it at 4. Manual persist isn't there. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm going to go. AMD or Intel? AMD. For sure. What are the files called hives? No, should be a SAM in there too. Because Microsoft originally wanted to name them shelves, but a typo in early documentation stuck. They encrypted it in hex. Hex sounded spooky, so hive was chosen as a distraction. That sounds like the right answer to me. Engineers believed the registry data should be alive, so they called it a hive to sound organic. Also sounds kind of like Microsoft. One of the people who worked on the registry hated bees. God, I want that answer to be right, but probably not. The word hive was chosen for homage to Windows 95 devs playing a lot of Warcraft 2. Okay. Hive is actually an acronym. Hidden information values everywhere. I think it's probably something like that. To set up a domain controller, what roles do I need? DNS and Active Directory domain services would be the correct answer. Typically, you'd add more stuff, though. So there's a lot of roles you'd add after setting up a DC, and it depends on what that DC is doing. Most people just use it for printer management. Is probably a big one still, and obviously Active Directory. Probably probably DNS and DHCP. I don't know how common that is. I'm really familiar with DNS and DHCP roles in Windows servers. I would imagine people wanting to move away from that, but every time you move those roles outside of the DC and it's not sitting on a Windows server, it can get a little wonky, especially with like login and those types of things. So it's always best to kind of host DHCP and DNS inside the Windows servers. That's just how I've always done it. So technically, I would probably put DHCP in with Active Directory domain services as well. You don't necessarily have to do that, though. But in my experiences, it usually leads to tragedy when you don't. It's always DNS. That's always the answer. What is the user profile folder in Windows XP? Yep. C, documents and settings. Awful name. Awful. Like, why would you put spaces in such a critical server? Why is it so, like, them changing it to users in Windows, was it Windows 7 era they changed it to users, or was it Windows 10 era? I can't remember, but the change from documents and settings to users was very welcomed. I remember that. When was Windows Defender first introduced? Probably would have been Vista. No, I think it was Windows 8, actually. A little bit later. Yeah, it would have been at post Windows 7, so Windows 8. It was terrible when it first did it. Most people don't even know. It wasn't even called Windows Defender back then. It was called Windows OneCare. And it was so awful, they had to rebrand it. Much like most people hate OneDrive now, that originally was called SkyDrive. And then SkyDrive sucked so bad and it screwed up so many syncs that Microsoft had to rebrand that one too. So Microsoft figured out, hey, we can kind of workshop products, really screw up everybody's computer, and then we're just going to take that product once it becomes okay, and then we'll rebrand it to something different, and then no one will know, and they'll keep using the product. That's Microsoft's MO. They did it with SkyDrive to OneDrive. They did it with Windows Defender back when it was called Windows OneCare. They took a lot of the lessons they learned from OneCare, rebranded it, used a lot of the same stuff, put it in a more succinct way with Windows Defender, and it actually became pretty good as of today. So the more you know. Where does Group Policy store in its settings? Group Policy store its settings. Yeah, it's obviously a Windows Media Player playlist. Durr. Actually, no. It's actually in the registry. You think they put it inside of like the directory, Active Directory, but no. It actually goes inside the registry. I don't know why they do that. But you can actually see this when you're not joined to a domain. Obviously, you don't have access to Active Directory, but you do have access to like a local policy, local group policy, which to have access to that, you'd have to do through a registry, Postgres database. How can you upgrade from PS3 to PS4 for free? Yes, you sing a ritual. That's obviously the correct answer. What does PEBCAC stand for? People enjoying keyboards and crying. Yes, problem exists between keyboard and chair. That's just a standard qualification message for anybody that's ever worked IT. You know PEBCAC. Picture this. You have a domain controller and 16 computers. You assign them to set specifically organization units named after departments in a company, and you want to make a group policy object. What do? Oh, God. Why is this a question? Why is this a question? You are fired if you ever do this. You make one GPO for everything. You fired. Do not ever make one GPO for everything. Backhand you. Oh my God. Every time I see this, anytime I'm on site, never, don't you ever make one GPO for everything. I'm looking at you, and you might be thinking, oh, it's fine, Titus. Everything works. Yeah, until it doesn't, and then you're like, oh, well, this isn't working. I wonder what's going on. Oh, well, let me just disable the GPO. Oh, wait, it disables everything. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't tell you how many times techs have come to me with one GPO, and I just want to slap the living shit out of them every single time it happens. Like, just read the book. The book right there. Use your brain. One GPO drives me up. This was a troll move with this question. You knew what I'd say. Troll move. Get me worked up. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. I almost completely missed the member that came in. Thank you. Over on YouTube. Big shout out. Practical IT. Thank you so much for the membership. Hey, Chris, I thought Microsoft renamed SkyDrive because of a trademark dispute. I do like your explanation, though. You might be right there, Practical, because I think it was a little bit of both. SkyDrive had a lot of problems, and Microsoft learned their lesson and learned rebranding pretty well. You can actually look in history. So it might have been a little bit of both. So they already kind of tainted the name of SkyDrive back in those days. But they might have also had a trademark dispute and said, it's not worth fighting. Look up, if you really want a really cool history of Microsoft, look up the Mojave experiment, Microsoft. And what they did, and this really taught them more about marketing, where Apple has always been ahead of the game when it comes to marketing. Microsoft's always been behind the ball when it comes to marketing. And the Mojave experiment taught Microsoft employees and taught Microsoft as a company, rebrands are extremely effective, because at the time this experiment took place, it was during the Vista era, and Vista had so much bad press. What they did was they rebranded Microsoft Vista to Mojave, switched around some stuff in the UI, rebranded the desktop. And then everyone they handed the desktop to and said, hey, here's our new operating system. It was just Vista with a different skin. Everyone was like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, this is way better than Vista. And they were all using Vista. So it really taught you the power of marketing, and it taught Microsoft the power of marketing, specifically rebranding existing products that have kind of got a bad reputation around them, even though they've worked through most of the kinks and people are still just real hesitant. I would be shocked if we didn't see a rebrand of, you know it's coming, Microsoft Teams. His Teams is like the absolute joke in IT right now and across most of the business realm. And it's a huge avenue that they could take to build on. So I imagine sometime in the future, we're going to see a rebrand of Teams, and they'll probably take this old card and play it once more. So I would be shocked if we didn't see that down the road, as Teams has always been kind of a hot mess, and it's gotten better over the years, actually, but it's already has such a tainted reputation. So it's great. And they also made some great fun commercials too with the Mojave experiment. But it was cool. It was cool. Oh my gosh. All right, back to it. DISM was first introduced Windows 7. A boot manager is used by default, boot MGR for Windows. All right. Which operating systems are DOS-based and which are NT-based? All right. Windows 3.1 DOS-based. Windows ME DOS-based. Windows 4.0. I don't remember 4.0. What would that have even been? I would bet that was Windows NT rebranded. 2000s NT, Vista, NT, 4, Vista. All these would be NT except for 1, 3, 3.1, and XP. It's kind of weird. It kind of gets murky. I don't think you can do it quite like this because the NT was merged during the XP era. So NT team became part of XP's. They used to have two different kernel teams, one for the residential side, one for the business side. So your Windows 95, 98 was part of that residential kernel team. Windows NT was like the business side of things. So some of this is a little bit murky, but generally that's how it would go. What does SAM mean? Security Account Manager. Sudden application meltdown. Oh man. It's always funny whenever I get on and people always talk about how Windows is secure. How did this myth ever get started? It's pretty funny. But if you look at SAM, specifically like the security account manager and stuff, offline NT password manager, what is it? This thing has been around forever. So if you're not familiar with this, what is it? Yeah, let's go up a little bit. So this was meant way back in the day, and this was a offline NT password, but everything up till today, you can actually use this on Windows 10, Windows 11, and let's say you're having a problem getting in, you can actually load this. It loads the SAM Hive, the SAM file, and you can enable the local administration account on pretty much any Windows system, and then log in with that local admin, and then change whatever you want on that system. What was the last release they had? 2014. Still works today. You can still load this up, toss it on a thumb drive. I usually throw it on like Ventoy. There are better versions out that have happened since this, but this thing has been around forever. It's SAM directly from a live ISO environment, and you can get into any Windows system without much fuss. It's wild that this still works. Anyways, fun fact about SAM, kind of little tangent. Is it a back door? I don't know. I think that's more of a front door that doesn't have a lock. I don't really think that's really hacking. That's just straight, hey, this shit's insecure. Anybody could edit this, and nobody's changed it for decades because Microsoft's stupid. But man, do they have a lot of money. Trillions. Again, power of marketing. Learn marketing. So important. How you present yourself. God, it's so important. More so than how well it works. Can you run Windows 11 24H2 processors without SE 4.2 support? I don't know. I would imagine yes. Might require like a registry hack or something, but I would imagine you could. What file system is Windows used by? Oh, freaking NTFS. Oh my God. I hate NTFS. It's archaic. It's old. Microsoft's actually had something on the back burner to switch out of NTFS for like more than a decade, and they still have yet to do anything with it. NTFS can just, it's awful. Awful. When WMI stand for? Windows Management Instrumentation. All right. What does this line come from? Multi-disk this gotta be from BCD, boot configuration database. So the BCD has been around for a while, and probably one of the tools I've used to change boot MGR in the past. I don't know if it's paid now, but Easy BCD, I think it is. So if you ever want to change the boot control database, I think it was BCD. This changes the Windows bootloader, and it does have a free portion of it, I want to say. I think they have a commercial, and the non-commercial is free to use. So you can use this to change the bootloader inside of Windows. Although I want to say it doesn't work very well with GPT and UEFI now. This used to be like my go-to back in the day, but you could change direct things and edit the boot control database at will. It's kind of cool. So anyways, yeah, let's submit. Oh God. You know what? I bet you're just trolling me. Let's put plumber, because that's what everyone thinks. All right. Which ones did I miss? Oh, keyword. No? Got multi-SC. Oh, binary. Did I miss D word? No. Expand. It was, okay, so it's binary and expand. I don't really use those very often. Windows 95. Windows 2000. Hyper-V, Type 1. I guess, but you're going to probably want some terminal service. Terminal services can give you like remote desktop and other things. Nah. First run, didn't know. Micro in. Oh, coding wonders. I should have known. Was Windows XP 64-bit edition a 64-bit? No. It's marketed as Windows XP, was based on Server 2003. Oh. I did not know this fact. So even though it was said Windows XP Professional X64, it wasn't a version of XP. It was just a rebrand of Server 2003 in a residential. That's probably why I loved it so much. Makes sense. Dave Cutler, okay. Negative, switch to Linux. Auto exec. I don't know. What was it? Include a VDM on 32-bit systems that lets you on Windows 10. Windows XP. I don't know much about the actual sounds and the composure of Windows. Got that right. Oh no, I got this wrong. What did I miss? DEC. DEC Alpha. I missed it right there. My bad. I never saw a DEC Alpha. So sad face. I think this was actually correct. It just wasn't in the test. It was wrong. But this was the correct answer. Where are files called? What was the answer to this? One of the people who liked the registry hated bees. Ah, that is so awesome. That's a great piece of trivia. Oh man, love it. Yeah, DNS, Active Directory services, documents and settings, awful. When was Defender first introduced? No, this is incorrect. I stand by when Windows Defender was. No way. Yeah, no. First release would have been. They added it, retrofitted it to Windows 7, but it came out during, I think it was 2016, which would have been Windows 10, actually. Free anti-spyware program for Windows XP and shipped with. It's a little misleading. It wasn't called Windows Defender back then. It was essentially just Smart Screen, and then it had definitions for. It wasn't the Defender we know now. It didn't scan for viruses back then. No way. I think this wiki's wrong. It had somewhere malware abilities, but it was not a full-featured antivirus. But was it called even Defender back then? Yeah. It was a download for, man. I never used it back in this era. I remember it was just worthless. It didn't really hit the market and actually start to be decent until probably Windows 10 era. Windows 8, you saw it a little bit, but Windows 10 probably wouldn't have been before it became decent. Maybe, I guess it's right. All right. The more you know. I still stand by my answer, but technically this is probably correct. Okay. Where does group policy? Registry. You sing a ritual. Upgrade PS3 to PS4 for free. That's funny. Yeah. You got all these right, except for this one. Windows 4.1 was technically DOS based, where Windows 4.0 was NT based. That seems like some Microsoft logic. And then 3.1.511 was NT based. Okay, I guess the naming scheme should all be NT except for this one. Like, why was this considered DOS based? That might interesting. All right, can you run that? The answer is no. All right. Boot.ini is where this goes. Why am I drawing a blank on boot.ini? Was that part of the auto exec era? I can't remember. It's been too long. Oh, did it give a final score? Total points, 141 of 204. That's fun. That was fun. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was nonsense at the time for various versions. Oh my god. BootMGR uses the boot.ini file for the config. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool, Cody Wonders. Thanks for making that little quiz. That was a fun trip down memory lane, man. Oh, so much fun. It uses the BCD, not boot.ini. Doing good, Sasha. How you doing? I am doing fantastic. Getting used to old Mac. The Mac has been fun. And honestly, it's been actually kind of a godsend with the main system down. And I'm starting to get kind of used to it. So I've done a couple things with the Mac, specifically like getting used to the alternate windows with spaces and mission control here. It's not been bad. It's very Mac-esque, and I don't necessarily mind it on Mac. I think I will just... I think I'm just going to get used to just doing the stock. I know a lot of people like Aerospace and Yabai, but I've tried them, and I'm like... It just feels like a tiling program running on top of an existing operating system that has its own baked-in stuff, and it just doesn't feel great. And that's just Linux that's ruined me on that. So I think I'm just gonna do spaces, get used to that, have my multi-monitor, and then have the different workspaces. So if there is, like, let's bring 3 in. I think I can go 1 and 2. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. And then that way I can just click it and then kind of come up and do my thing. So yeah, I think trying to do a tiler on macOS, there's just too much stuff going on with Mac. Like there's certain windows that get allocated, like system settings and stuff. Like when you have this, you can't really resize this. And tilers, you can go up and down with it, but you can't make it bigger. And there's certain limits that it's not a cohesive experience enough for me to ever say, hey, let's go with a tiler on Mac. I just don't think it's a good idea. Now, the thing I hate the most, though, this right here, I just want to get rid of the animation altogether. And I'm not sure what's the best way to do that. The other things I hate about Mac, I would probably say, like, and I'm listening to chat here too. If you guys have any ideas, I'm all about it. Finder, Finder just feels weird. It's not necessary. Like, I've gotten used to it, but I just hate Finder with a dire passion. I've tried to make it as good as I possibly can, and I still find it just for better words, that's my thoughts. The green, red, yellow, the window UI, that's just a Mac thing. I don't know why. macOS Finder is not Finder. It's weird. Agreed. Yeah, Raycast is nice. I've been trying to do Raycast a little bit. It's a little bit more powerful than Spotlight, I find. And I don't need to run like Magnet or Rectangle. Does Rectangle remove the animations? Is that a thing? Let's look at Rectangle and see what the options are on Rectangle, because I am curious. Rectangle macOS. Let's see what we got here. So you got keyboard shortcuts. I already bind that in. Raycast does this as well, and you can specify certain zones like this. You could do the snapping, so that would be very much like what Magnet used to do. That's cool. I don't use my mouse that much, so that's just kind of annoying for me. So it's really just keyboard shortcuts and snap areas. If it doesn't do anything more than that, it just does not really apply to me, because I think Raycast kind of takes care of all that. So let's say I'm dragging something around like this. I just snap it in with a hotkey. Like, the idea of taking this and then hitting it to the side to snap it just seems silly. But again, I'm just used to hotkeys, specifically coming from Linux to Mac. That's just something you just do. Now, they used to be able to do the animation right here. You used to be able to completely kill this. And I think it was sometime in, within the last 3 or 4 releases, I want to say, they stopped making, because what you could do is not necessarily turn off the animation, but you could shorten the animation to where it was almost instantaneous. And I think they pretty much removed that, unless there's another project out there. Yeah, some people use it, you buy, but I think you pretty much have to disable system integrity protection, SIP, which, whenever I say SIP out loud, that's like, I think telephony and telephones. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I don't think a Mac DWM ever makes sense, because the whole idea of DWM is it being light, and it feels like you'd just be tacking more crap on top of Mac. I think you choose Mac because you want the reliable standard experience. And I think if you start customizing Mac too much, you should just use Linux. There's no reason to use Mac if you're really overly customizing it. So I think it's more of just finding sane defaults, using the stock settings, and then modifying it to just be as fast as possible. Today, Sasha, I'm sorry, I didn't see your question till now. Just working on Mac because our main system's down right now. So yeah. Don't mention the telephony crap, I will cry. Spoken like someone that's had PTSD dealing with telephony stuff. It's so true though. There's so much little nuance to telephony. But if you deal directly with, like, if you own your phone numbers and you're directly doing like SIP trunks and stuff, telephony's not that bad. It can really be very nice when you control everything end to end. It's where people really have problems with telephony in the IT space is they rely on terrible companies that take advantage of users. It's like the black sheep or snake oil salesman of IT. Now you might be thinking, wait, my IT guy's already a snake oil salesman. I'm like, well, you ain't seen nothing until you find one that does telephony. Because those guys, my main job, which I love what I do. I've been an IT manager for a long time, decades at this point. And a lot of people are like, well, you've been doing YouTube, you've been doing streaming, all that. And like, why do you still have a job where you go in one day a week? One, I'm an American and health insurance ain't no joke here. Private insurance is like $40,000 a year. No joke, straight cash. And then you still got co-pays and everything. So problem there, especially with me having a family. So there's that. But also, the fact is, I can save a company relatively a large amount of money, well over my salary, just working a day a week. And telephony is actually one of those things I leverage for that. So like if I got sat down, I'm like, hey, Titus, let's have a little office space intervention. They're like, hey, Titus, tell me, what is it exactly you do here? Throw back to an Office Space scene. But telephony is one of those things where before I came along, I think we were paying somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1,000 a month in telephony. And we had like 60, 70 numbers, and talk time was relatively moderate, maybe a couple thousand minutes a month. Maybe a little more than that, maybe like 10,000 minutes a month. But very, very small amount of talk time compared to like call centers and such. Bringing all that in-house, controlling everything end to end, that company now pays, it went from $1,000 a month, $20 a month, 70 numbers, pretty much unlimited chat. You know, they can talk. They can even have more features such as text messages and other things for literally nothing. Well, how is that? Because I host everything. Everything's done in-house. So there's literally no cost. There's no third-party vendor. Something happens. That's it. And I did that not because of some cost-saving thing. It's just because telephony sucks so bad in the industry. Like, I wanted to just call up Ring Central. That's like the biggest telephony name in the space. Don't sue me, bro. But it was just such a pain in the ass. Like dealing with the snake oil salesman, everything had an upcharge, everything had a monthly fee. One headset, that's an extra $30 a month. But you wanted that like extra headset or sidecar on it, that's another $5 a month. And then it just like nickel and dime you. And it's such a grimy, dirty business that I literally was just like, it's not even worth it. I would spend more time yelling at these people than if I just did all the work end to end myself. So I did it. And guess what? It's been the best experience, best decision I've ever made. I actually have less work now when I don't even have a vendor to deal with, and I can just control everything from the registrar, where I'm registering and doing everything, to the hosting and everything. I have built-in redundancy everywhere. So even if like a SBC goes down, it just takes care of itself. And it's been like that for 7 years, 8 years, something like that. It's been a long time. I've just said, screw it. We're just doing it all in-house. And I wish I did it sooner. Yeah. So that's my thoughts. Chris, I was quoted $70K for engineering to implement a telephony system. Really? That's insane. God, that's like Nortel quotes back in the day. Like if you ever installed like Nortel systems back before they went defunct, the install prices for those were about 20 to 30K, and they would install it. You'd typically have like what called a PRI, and that would come into the system. Think like T1 from back in the day. Essentially, it was a T1 just for telephony. And yeah, God, I just remember dealing with that, and the PRI was like 30 or no, it was like 300 or 400 a month, I think, and you could have like 12 concurrent lines, completely analog, using a Nortel system with about 20 to 30,000 was the average. Adjusted for inflation, it sounds about 60, 70K would be probably where it was. If you're looking for something like that for an engineering to implement a telephony system, I'd probably say it would be, oh, that sounds like an NEC style VoIP system. Maybe even some Ring Central crap. Ring Central loves their monthly fees though, so something along those lines, I bet you. Yeah, ISDN PRI. Thank you, Patri. That's exactly all right. Yeah, VoIP seems to change a lot. I don't really know. Yeah, but it can be dirt cheap. Like that's the thing. Like most people don't understand how cheap telephony is. Like I have a business phone here that I practically never use, and I have a business number, but I think I pay for my business 20 cents a month, 30 cents a month, something like that. I host everything here though, and I think I run it off of a Raspberry Pi actually. Because I was like, well, if you factor in the electrical cost of a full-blown computer, not that I mean, I could just build a computer and toss it in my rack back there. But I was like, if you factor in the electrical cost, that'll probably work out to $20, $30 in electrical cost. But if you use it on a Raspberry Pi, strip it down, don't have like a really extensive user interfaces, shoot, works pretty good. But if you really want to get into VoIP and you want just like a free and open source software solution, check out FreePBX. FreePBX is amazing. Crosstalk Solutions has a lot of FreePBX videos online. And I've actually spoken with Chris in real life. Amazing dude. Totally awesome. And yeah, he has a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. If you want to get in, go down that path. It's a fun path. It's very rewarding though. Yeah. But yeah, I think he's probably done a couple videos. Let me see. It's been a while since I looked up Crosstalk. Let me link him in chat though. It's just for those that do want to kind of mess around. Because he has just a host of stuff. A big Unify guy too. Copy. But he's great. I love Chris from Crosstalk. He's just a good dude. What do you think of sysinternals suite on Windows? Sysinternals used to be independent, and then Windows bought them out, I want to say. I don't know if it was like an independent department of Windows, but I just remember them being kind of absorbed by Windows and just kind of tossed in there. I don't know if they've seen many updates, though. But I do like all the sysinternals tools, Ahmed. They're great. Yeah, I think the big thing everyone needs to know is everything can be set up by yourself, and everything can be, if you're paying a monthly fee for it and it's on a computer, typically there's a better way. There's a better way. Don't be paying too many monthly fees. I always tell people that. Find ways around that. You will save a boatload of money in the long run, and honestly have less headaches. Everyone always likes to tout like, hey, this is the greatest thing. You just pay a monthly fee and you never have to worry about it. Yeah, but dealing with the salespeople is always a nightmare. And then they lock stuff behind paywalls. Sometimes you don't get proper auditing. And it's not as reliable as you think. I used to really love the cloud, but honestly, I'm just now turned into a complete neckbeard where I'm just like, the cloud's someone else's computer. Because essentially right now it's just not very good. It's not a good solution for almost anybody, for anything, businesses, everything. I can't get behind the monthly subscription model. I hate it. I think it's terrible. It was never a thing. They made it a thing because people needed convenient MRR, monthly recurring revenue, and they stopped making good software. They were incentivized to making crappy software and just do updates and move stuff around just to make you feel better. And you can see this across, like, the worst offender, I think, is probably like the accounting sphere. I'm looking at you, QuickBooks, good night, and Sage. Actually, any accounting software, let's just be real, it's all awful. And they purposely change everything every year to move crap around for no reason at all. Oh my God, I could rant about that for hours, but I'm not gonna. We're just gonna move on. Chris, I just saw your Outlook video. Do you have an email client you recommend over Outlook Professional Plus 2021? I do not. Outlook's still my go-to for email client. I still think it's the best. New Outlook just sucks, but old Outlook still reigns supreme in business. Having said that, the world's looking up. A lot of the web clients are decent now, decent enough to where you just can do the web. But for actual email clients, man, I have a hard time recommending anything. And when it comes to businesses, typically old Outlook is still king. I hate it, but that's just how it is. Thunderbird's coming along. It's a Mozilla product, and it's not terrible. Have you ever worked with or had experiences with Verge OS? I have not. Battery Chuck. I prefer email through browser. All email clients look awful to me. Mr. Hardy, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think almost everything's a web client for me now for emails. I rarely use an email client, even though I do have Outlook here, but that's just for my day job. So I can't really pull up Outlook here, but I just use that for my day job. And then I leave it closed for the rest of the time. What is Neomut? If you ever want to know more about the failed answers on the quiz, I pointed out them out in contributor chat. Thanks, Coding Wonders. That was a cool quiz, man. I appreciate that. That was fun. That was a lot of fun, Coding Wonders. I loved kind of taking a trip down memory lane. And you kind of get insights to, how I came up in the IT field. It was a very telling quiz, and I liked that. I always like doing quizzes and tests, specifically in the IT field, because then you can kind of see your blind spots. Because nobody knows everything, and it's fun to kind of see, I don't know on that. That's crazy. And going through, it's just fun. It's fun doing that type of stuff. All right, let's go. Thoughts on Proton Mail? Don't like it. Just something doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel right. Something's not right about that Proton Mail, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Anyways. I'm pretty skeptical of most security and privacy products. So, I'm not a security privacy guy. Just take it with a grain of salt. Let's see. Apparently you can remove animations between spaces. Ooh, wait a second. What? Check this from Salty. You can go settings, accessibility, display and toggle, reduce motion on. Dan, if we look, Like, let's see. Let's go settings, right? I think I already did this. Accessibility. Go down to display. Reduce animation. Oh, it is off. Wait, okay. Oh, that is better. I thought I had the toggle for that. My toggle's not working. What? That's no good. Let's open this guy up. I was working on the Linux book. Let's go. Mac Util. So when we look here, this is my remove animations script. Reduce motion bool true, but this doesn't actually set it properly. Huh. Watch this. 1 second. What do we got? Um, it's kind of interesting. 1 second. Mac Util. Okay. So when we go remove animations, before I run the script here, so let's grab settings. This is the old Mac Util. Let's go general. We're going to do this the opposite way. I want to make sure this applies. Yeah, the users group in Mac is defaulted to staff for some odd reason. I think it was appearance. No, it wasn't appearance. It was displays. Why is it I always... Accessibility, appearance. Nope. Where was that? Was it displays? No. Reduce motion was general. Am I the only one that thinks like Mac's settings layout is just awful? Or maybe I just don't know it. It's accessibility. Okay. Okay, accessibility. Then it was display. It's awful. Okay, okay. I was just wondering. I was like, I know I like to complain. I don't like being a complainer. But man, this just feels very unintuitive. So I'm going to disable reduce motion, right? So I'm going to close that. We got that. Now let's run the script. We got that. I'm just going to sign in. Elevate the command. Okay. It set the reduce motion preferences in Windows. But you notice it did not. And if you look back in the settings, which... settings, and we go back to accessibility, display, reduce motion does not get turned on. Why? Yeah, it's great hardware. I agree 100% with you. What Mac did with the ARM chips and the battery life, I tell you what, you guys have heard how much I complain about Mac, but when I'm at work and I'm just kind of fiddling around doing my work, I can do it on a Mac. I can do it on Linux. I can do it on Windows. It doesn't matter. OS just is, you know, the gateway. I will find it is very nice that at the end of the day, I just roll in with this little tiny book, weighs nothing, plug it in, good to go. And then it's at my day ends, I don't close anything. I just slam the lid down, toss it in my bag, and I never have to worry about it running out of battery life. That alone, from a hardware standby power saving standpoint, absolute game changing. I know that sounds silly, and Linux people are probably already screaming in chat going, well, it doesn't matter. You can do standby mode. You don't understand. Like, until you actually have a Mac, you do that, you really don't grasp how convenient that is. It's very nice for those on the go doing constant portability. It's great. It's the best. The best I've ever seen, best implementation. And hats off to them, you know? I know a rare me complimenting Mac, but that is one thing that just does so well. No, Tim Cook doesn't actually code. He's an analytics guy. He's a numbers cruncher. He's all about efficiency and, hey, we can save a fraction of a penny if we outsource this to this third world country instead of this other third world country. Sure, people might jump off the roof and commit suicide because of labor conditions, but that's not our concern. Cheap electronics that look really nice is our game. Yeah, battery life and Final Cut. That's all you need. You know, Andrew gets it. But why doesn't this get enabled? Let's look. So let's first look at our Mac version. So if we look, just go, hey, about this Mac, you can see it is a Sequoia 15.6. So let's just take this line and let's see what the old AI says. This line doesn't work on Sequoia 15.6. Why? And let's not do an agent. Let's do an ask. Why doesn't that work? Oh, okay. So in Sequoia, it moved from universal access to accessibility. This is another problem I've noticed with Mac, is they move the keys depending on what version you're on. Interesting. Okay. We need to detect the Mac version and then apply the proper keys for all values in this script. I just got back from a bike ride. It's a beautiful morning. Man, it does look beautiful out there. It's 80 degrees here. I think I might do the same here in a little bit, bud. Okay, so now we'll get the OS version. Now, it also needs to check the other ones as well. It's going to add version aware logic. This is incorrect, I think. So this one says if version is above 14, for a little bit they moved it from a bool value to an integer in Sonoma, And then in Sequoia, they moved it back to a bool value, but moved it from the universal access key to accessibility. I feel like just people at Mac are trolling people at that point. Well, I guess that's why there's no universal Mac utilities. Because, man, that would be a pain in the ass to get set up. It's kind of funny. This is wrong. We're already doing a sourcing that file. Ah, accessibility is the new general. It's crazy. Defined escalation tool as quote since default commands on macOS don't require pseudo privileges. Okay. That doesn't seem right, but okay. That's fine. Let's keep that. Let's clean it up a little bit though. First off, blanking out escalation tool. This remove the escalation tool variable when it is not needed. Kill all will probably need it. Yeah. Yeah, we can leave it without. That should be fine. We'll also do another check just to see if probably another check just to see if there are other values that have changed, because I'm pretty sure these other values have changes for those groups. You see that it did catch quite a few of them where the doc exposed group apps and this exposed group by app right here. It's kind of funny. What are you doing? Set the... Why would you do that? It's idiots. No. That's awful. Anyways. Check the other commands for incompatible for changed values depending on Mac OS version. Look at official Apple documentation. Take it easy, Andrew. Yeah, Mac has the best Bluetooth implementation out of literally anybody. It just blows the doors off of Windows and Linux when it comes to Bluetooth. I don't know why that is, but it is. It does such a good job with Bluetooth. But it also makes me wonder, why is Bluetooth so hard for the other operating systems, specifically Linux and Windows? That doesn't make much sense to me, but All right, we got a couple more version aware agreements here where things got changed. Why would it re-enable slow motion effects? The script name is remove animations, not add more animations. Slow motion allowed, bool true. You crackhead. This is a remove animations script. Why would you enable slow motion? I knew you liked some crack. You're absolutely right. I made a silly mistake. Oh, it's the little things in life. Now, if I'm correct here, like, let's just, like, back here, if you go kill all doc. Oh, no. Yeah, kill all doesn't need privileges. All right. Oh. Ask it how I made the mistake. Yeah. Let's review back. All right, so we got a lot of checks for reducing it and removing motion. This looks much better. We're not using sudo because you don't need to for setting defaults like this. That looks good. Now, I think I'm going to actually just run the script itself. I don't need to launch into the tool for this. Let's just go cd scripts. And let's go system. And what we're going to do is remove animations. Now, just to see, before we do it, you see how we have the large animation that should be a slight fade when we remove this. Or not. Do. I will never get used to the Command V. I always use Control V. I've done it for decades and decades. 3 decades at this point. It's never gonna get removed from my brain. All right, get macOS version. Okay. Let's try that. All right, great. Still didn't do it. So the reducing animation still, if you look, dang, man. See, the reduce animation still off. So when that enables, it should just be a slight fade. Yet, it does not. This still does not reduce. Still doesn't reduce animation on 15.6. Please make more verbose debug output. How does Mac do elevation? It's a little bit more tied down. They have a couple different nuances to Mac, specifically you have the system integrity protection that you have to worry about, where it might flag it, but you also have to feed, like, instead of just doing sudo in typically it will, I forget what the tool name was, but you feed that into a command to elevate. This is all that we're doing right here shouldn't need any kind of elevation though. So it doesn't even matter. It's just not setting the proper settings values. All right, let's keep that. I want to make sure it's using the Sequoia version for reduced motion. And then it'll verify it after. Let's see. Let's just see. So we can see it there. Let's remove animations. So it detects 15.6. Using 15.6, running, reduced motion animation true, verifying setting 1, also trying that as a fallback. Could not write to universal access, exiting. So it's only doing reduced motion, but as soon as it goes to there, it does not. But it should, when you do the defaults read of this, like, let's just change this write to a read. Yeah, okay. Oh no. What happened here? Oh, ZSH, I hate you. Yeah, it shows it's enabled at 1. I'm gonna just try and find this command really fast. I think when you do this, it might be an integer. That's what I'm thinking. So if we look over here, int-1, if you go int-1, and then you got to read, but it doesn't set it. And if you kill all doc, try it again, you still don't have that. Reduce motion enabled is 1. But why on the settings when it gets enabled? Let's turn it off and turn it back on in settings and see if it reflects this value. So they had to put something extra here. Such a Mac thing to do. So it's on, off, and then if we look at the read, we got the proper value. So now it's off. How odd, right? And then we enable it, this turns to 1. It's the proper value for sure. So it's not the dock we need to kill. We need to relaunch something else. So yeah, you just saw the disable is 0, enable is 1. It's an integer, so not a bool. And we can change that value. It's not that big a deal. As it's wrong over here. So if you look, this universal access, we need a if statement to read if that's a proper value first. Yeah, so this whole thing should be this, then this also, Oh, this is universal access, so we need this accessible. Ah, dang it. So they changed it from that, and then this should be int 1. Just to double check. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Before setting value, double check that the value exists. Before setting any defaults value, check to make sure the key exists. So there's something else tied with that toggle. So Mac did something in the back end to where when you click that little toggle, it changes the default's value to 1. We verified that, but there's something else going on there where it's like, hey, we're also going to kill and relaunch this command, so then you see it immediately. So it's going to create a function, safe to write to defaults, double check it. Can you get all settings and switch to pipe file and make a diff? Maybe something else changed. That's a great idea, Pat. That's definitely the way to approach it. Yeah, just defaults read. Yeah. How big is this file, you think? I'm gonna run out of history. So probably just, yeah. Let's see. So can we just push that to defaults before? And then what was the read? So it's enabled right here. Now let's change it. And we're going to go defaults before, it's after, disable dot text. Okay. Then let's pull those files in. Is this still working? God, just going to use all my tokens. Great. Hey, Chris, just got a new Samsung phone with a bunch of garbage apps pre-installed. Does your old video still hold to uninstall all these unwanted Google and Samsung apps? Absolutely, TDV. Check out, what was it, the next generation? I think it was the Universal Android Debloater Next Generation. Totally what you need, TDV. Absolutely a must with any Android device user. If you aren't using that, you are missing out in life. All right, let's pull these files in. File open. We're gonna go before. And then let's open. Let's do after disable. And then we're going to go, all right, select file to compare. All right, compare with selected file. Boop. Okay. So we've got a couple changes here. We have activity date, usage activity date. It should not be it. Got another one coming up. We have the reduced motion from 1 to 0. We have accounts cleanup. Oh, wait a second. We got another reduced motion over here. What is this? Where is this? Ooh. It is under com.apple universal access. And it is an integer, not a bool. So they added it in 2 spots. Those tricky, tricky people. Well then. That's unimpressive. But good to know. All right. Well, that tells us what we need. So under the right here, we shall also need to do reduce motion. So we got that. Defaults. It looks like it does it here as well, but is it going to cancel out when it calls the safe defaults right? Checks to see if it can read it. If it can, then it debugs it with a default right, current value. Verifies. Okay, great. I like it. I think that'll be good. Let's see. All right, so coming back. Let's go remove animations. Current value 1. Current value 1. Cannot write domain with universal access. So I guess we do need to do an escalation here. All right. Let's grab that escalation. Oh, where are you at? Common script. Actually, just grab escalation tool. Copy that. And we're going to come into here. If domain value is universal access. If domain value is under universal access, let's give it a little bit more specificity. Apple dot universal access. Then use the variable escalation tool that is already defined by common script. If I don't put that in, it'll try and do some janky thing and like specify it. So I think that should get us what we want. Let's see. Yeah, it's already defined. I can see common script doesn't currently define a variable. What? Yes, it does. Does it not use escalation tool? Oh, it doesn't. Oopsies. Dang, well, that's an oversight, isn't it? Yeah, there's not going to be another like do as for that. Let's just undo that. Let's keep this. Instead of using escalation tool, just write sudo. This is Mac, and it is the only escalation tool. I mean, sudo is pretty much the only thing you can use in Mac anyways. Unless you have some wonky setup, and in that case, you're not going to be using my scripts anyways. Do you like coffee? Of course. Who doesn't like coffee? It's crazy. I like any form of caffeination. Tea, coffee, anything. Okay. There we go. That makes more sense. Since escalation tool is not even being used, I don't even know how the hell I got that. I think I copied from the Linux utility and just didn't check it. Okay, now NS global domain, is that even going to go? We'll see. Safe defaults right. Oh, I feel good about that. All right, now the moment of truth. Okay, got our elevation. Okay, so debug summary, boom, that worked. Accessibility, reduce motion enabled, 1. Universal access motion is 0. What do you mean? We set it right here. Oh, I think we've come to we figured it out. See? Okay. We're getting there. Just black tea, really. I'm pretty basic. Yes. Oh, that's what's happening. And let's do, instead of the read, let's do a write, actually. Let's go write. Oh, no. What? What happened? Oh, God bless it. Wait, what? Maybe there's a space or something there. Okay, that worked. And then if we go back to the read, still at 0. Huh. Okay, well now at least we figured out what's going on here. But why? Even with sudo, it's not writing that. But as soon as we enable it through the settings menu, which doesn't require any kind of elevation, it doesn't. And if we don't use sudo, it'll say cannot write to domain. Very interesting. Let's feed it some context. Let's go with an ask instead of an agent. Well, agent, sure. Let's see what it's just. Yeah, it needs both, Beige. We tried both, and we did a diff of both default reads in an output file, and it does need to change both these values. That's why it's not taking this value. It's just like, but why? Why isn't the write command working? If I don't use sudo, it doesn't have access to write to universal access. I already gave you the context. So there's something up. Skip. Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Okay. It's fine. Yep. It's depreciated read-only. The settings move to that. The new domain doesn't require sudo privileges. This is incorrect. If I set this value manually, it changes both values, including the universal access. Says value. Yeah, this is funky. So there's like a little weird thing Mac's done here to tie down some of the settings. It's not quite as easy as it used to be. We'll get to the bottom of it though. Interesting. Yes, it is. Yeah, all LLMs will give you the same result here. Let's see what it can think through and see if it can't suggest a solution. I'm just not certain you could set it through this method. There's got to be a way to do it, though. As we saw when we set it manually, and then we did a defaults read and output to text file, it told us exactly what changed. And it was both values at the same time. It's probably a security thing. Yeah, I'm thinking like universal access has like some special backend or something that is only writable from the settings app within Mac. And I bet you that's what's causing the issue. But what kind of workaround can we come up with? If it's completely locked behind the settings app, man, that would just suck. Guess you could automate opening the settings app and manually ticking the toggle. Oh my god. It would be a terrible solution. Is int data type correct? Yeah, Odie, I think the big thing here is let's 1 second, I gotta type in the password. Oh, that's very strange. Yeah, it is. Why is that? Okay, here's what I discovered. Both domains exist and work, but they have different permission requirements. The reduced motion works without sudo. Reduced motion requires sudo in the universal access. Key insight, to read and write, get accurate. Issue with your original command when you ran it.
Yeah, well.
The write worked, but the read without sudo did not. Charlie, thanks for the tier 1. Very interesting. This shows 1. Looking at the script, there's a bug in the verification strut. Also fixed there. Yeah, that's fine. Oh. But that's still not going to fix the motion. Oh, it's so close. It's not, its logic is, so if you go sudo, run the last one, right? But if, let's go with that one right there, and then go with another read, it's 1. But if we do a read of the default without sudo, it'll show 0, I bet you. Yeah, okay. So it's writing to a whole different group. That's why the setting's not taking place. So for the user, it's read only. We have to find a way to elevate to write to it, but we can't just use sudo because then it writes to God knows where. And it doesn't actually write or read the proper value. Sheesh. That kind of sucks. Well. Sure. The problem is the sudo doesn't appear to write the 1 to the user universal access, but as the root. All right, let's test theory. Yeah, so the user can't write to universal access without sudo, but sudo writes to the root's preferences instead of the user's. This is a classic macOS permissions issue. Okay, so the solution might be use sudo-u user as in find an alternative. Okay, let's see if that works. All right. All right, let's see. It's checking SIP. Protection issue, maybe? Try a different approach this time. It's doing a kill all CF perf SD, sleeping 1 second, and then trying to write it. Yeah, cannot write. This is clearly a protected domain. Let me check if we're supposed to use a different approach entirely. Huh. So user domain protection, com.apple universal access is write protected for regular users in Sequoia. Sudo writes to root, which is not very beneficial to us users. Yeah, but then it makes the assumption that it's depreciated and not actually controlling the UI anymore. Well, fun fact, it is. God, what a friggin' nightmare. It's worse than editing Windows, man. It's just changing some output. It's not really doing anything. Woo. Yeah. That's so wild. God, that's such a Mac thing. God, I hate you, Mac. Yeah, it's a system integrity thing that they're doing. They just don't want the user writing anything through the terminal to change the defaults. It used to not really be a thing. Version 13 and before, you could just do defaults right, which I've done multiple times, no problem. But they changed the location and then made the user one unwritable, so you have to use the GUI and set it that method. That's crazy. Man, I hate Mac so much right now. I gotta say. That's awful. Yeah. So it's a security layer for terminal apps when writing user. Like, what I don't understand, like when we pull this up and we want to reduce the accessibility, like what is it here? As soon as we do this, what happens in the background, I can just tell you, reduce motion. As soon as we hit this, what's happened is it's wrote out to .accessibility integer 1 for reduce motion enabled. That key, reduce motion, enables now a 1 when I click that. But it also changes a write protected store called universal access, now called reduce motion, universal access.reduce motion. When I click here, this settings app has permissions to write to that specific key value, but nothing else does. It's completely write protected outside of the settings app. So as soon as I try to do a defaults write com.apple universal access reduce motion, it immediately says you're not allowed to do that. But when we do a read of the default, it obviously, the settings app does have permissions to write to that. If we elevate permissions using sudo, then it writes to the reduced motion under the root, not the user. So you'd think you could do like a sudo, I think -u. Can you do a user-based sudo and run it as user with elevated privileges to write to it?
Look, I want to say, I know you're all super people, so
Yeah,
thanks
-u.
for thanking of me.
Zaid, thanks for joining the YouTube members. Oh, geez, that is just awful. So let's go U. And then we're going to go -u equals Titus. And we're going to grab the defaults right of this right here. Unknown user equals Titus. Maybe when we do this, it just needs to be a space. Equal Titus tells me they didn't actually. So, yeah, I won't allow. So interesting. Yeah, there's a way around it. Yeah. Tell application system settings, activate reveal anchor display under pane ID com.apple accessibility settings extension, and tell the application settings, tell process setting display, delay one click, checkbox, reduce motion, and window 1, Intel. Oh, God, that is dirty. That is so dirty, setting a setting that way. Oh, I hate you, Mac. Why you do that to me? OS's script, apparently, yeah. Oh, that's wild. All right, Zed said, let's see. I created a micro-win ISO as per your video instructions mounted to USB drive. Can I use that to upgrade for free from Windows 10 to Windows 11 instead of the free upgrade from Windows Update? Oof. I've never actually done an update with micro-win. I never recommend doing Windows updates because it leaves behind a whole bunch of junk. I always recommend backing up data, starting fresh. It's the only way to get a good Windows install. And that's always been the case for decades and decades. So do a clean install of Windows with micro-win. You'll have a way better experience. I never recommend updating. Now, as far as the question, your next question would be, how do I activate Windows if I didn't already do the update? You probably will have to do the update. I would probably just do the official methodology of Windows Update, and then subsequent installs should automatically, it'll get registered with their database, and then you'll just get installed for free. So that should work. If not, you could always, can I even say that on YouTube? I can't really say it on YouTube, but, you could look in for troubleshooting specifically. God, how do I say this without getting in trouble? Yeah, mass script. Yeah. Oh, what's that website? Yeah. Is it activated.win or massgrave.dev? Yeah. Anyways, that also activates Windows for troubleshooting purposes only. I would never condone piracy in any form. And those websites are strictly forbidden. So, of course, never ever go visit Massgrave or Massscript. Never. Don't do that, because then if you go there, it could activate your Windows. So don't ever do that. And you won't ever have to pay Microsoft any money. You need to pay Microsoft money and make sure you activate Windows legally. So don't do that, or never ever go in your terminal and specifically type in IRM space get.activated.win pipe IEX, because that would run the script directly and it would activate all your Microsoft products without paying them any money. And that would be very, very bad. So don't do that. Because it would activate Windows and subsequently any other Microsoft product such as Microsoft Office, and then you wouldn't pay Microsoft any money, and that would be very illegal. So don't do that. Very bad. So don't condone that. Piracy's bad. So make sure you do it the legit way. Go to Microsoft, pay them the $200. Yeah. Yeah. It's totally right. God, that. Yeah, there's a Discord here. Let me let's type in Discord. 1 second. Yeah, you can go to the Discord. There you go. Yeah, definitely avoid those dangerous websites. Yeah. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm just telling you right now, that would obviously be not the thing to do. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Whew, I can't. I would never go to those websites. Yeah, obviously, I never go to them on stream as well. That would just be awful, nor mention them. Absolutely not. Oh. All right. What was it? I think it was up here. I think it's beige. This is such a crazy way to do it. So essentially, we're going to try a different method of setting this default Mac. Let's go. We're going to go a whole different one, erase all this context. This isn't working for setting system settings in the default command in Sequoia. Let's try this method. Let's see. Let's see what it comes up with on this. Since we already rerouted everything to the function, it technically should work. All right, set reduce motion GUI. Now we need to add the GUI function. All right, let's see what it comes up with. This would be very interesting to see if it can pull it off. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, that is wild. So this is just a straight OSA script. You know, I thought I hate this more. But I don't necessarily hate this. Let's see how fast it is, or how slow it is, I should say. Obviously, just doing a terminal command would be ideal. But when in Rome, since we can't really set it anymore in Sequoia, desperate times calls for different measures. It's better than I thought. It's exactly what I thought would need to happen, but maybe. Oh no, Tails clipped that. Oh, that's awful. All right, here we go. So right now, it is doing the emotion. Oh, wow. And then you got to do this. Oh, gosh. Oh, that sucks. So then when you go about doing it again, so let's come on to display accessibility. Let's disable that. I kind of want to see, does it even go to that screen? So now we're back to the old accessibility. Yeah, that didn't quite work. It has to go general accessibility. Oh, I think it did general, actually. Should be general display and then reduce motion. Let's check to see. So, tell applications activate, reveal anchor display under accessibility extension. Ooh. This didn't work. This didn't work. Only general is displayed. Cyberpunk booze is the theme I'm using. So use the correct pane ID. Preference universal access. It's not universal access. I don't think that's right. This should properly navigate to accessibility display where reduce in Sequoia. Okay, well, let's give it a whirl. All right. So I'll go general, leave it off of that screen. Let's write it. No. No love. Nope. Check Sequoia documentation. Pane isn't getting revealed. Oh, say beige said activate reveal anchor display of pane ID accessibility. Oh, okay. Well, you're better than this. You're better than Sonnet 4, man. All right, let's see. So looking at Beige's suggestion here with OsuScript, we're first activating system settings, boom, and then telling application system events, tell process system settings, delay 2, navigate to accessibility in the sidebar, try row accessibility in table 1, delay 2, click button display of window 1. But it never activated the accessibility. See, this is where, like, kind of it falls apart, LLMs do. Just, yeah, like, this should be activate, right? And then it should be reveal anchor. Display of pane. Of pane ID com.apple.accessibility. Dash settings extension? Really? Dot extension. Okay. And then you have an Intel. And then we would go down to the next line. We'd tell process system settings. System events, system settings. Let's go delay 1. Ah, come on, what? Oops. Do a delay 1. And set the... we don't need to do this. Because I think when you do the reveal of the display, it should already be up on the screen. And we could just take this, delay the checkbox. All this on air stuff, I think we can get rid of. Seems pretty straightforward. Obviously, we don't even need this delay. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good right there. What do we think? Hey, Fireball. Yeah, I love streaming. We're setting it up now to where we got Windows on Monday. Or no, Windows on Tuesday. Linux on Monday. Mac on Thursdays. I really like it. Because there's certain things I like about each operating system. This isn't one of them. This is definitely not one of them. This is absolutely insane that we're having to do any of this just to reduce the enable motion button. Absolutely insane. What? This is just crazy. It's just stupid. It's just a stupid automation tool. Makes me want to just say, screw all this. Let's just write a Ansible playbook. I feel like it'd be easier just to do a playbook at this point in time than to try and set anything using this type of OSIS script automation. I mean, we could just pull up the automation app and then just grab the scripts and then just toss them in here. But the problem with that is, depending on the version that this is run on, you're going to have varying results. So what do we have? Delay 1. Set the checkbox to checkbox reduce motion. Not click. Set checkbox to checkbox. So you want to go set. Okay. Feel like the LLM is reading Twitch chat at this point in time. It's crazy. You seen MJD's video about putting Windows 11 on an Intel compute stick? Oh no, I'll have to check it out. It's the Twitch LLM. Honestly, based on like anytime I've ever tried to do something on Twitch chat, like programming, whatever it is, even like languages I have no knowledge of, we always usually end up getting there in the end. Someone in chat pipes in and says, oh, check this out. And then we start looking at it and kind of pounding around. And we always usually get to a solution at the end of the day. I don't think we've ever had a time where we were just like, nah, it's broken. I think there's been times where I'm like, okay, I kind of got where we're going. And then later on, I kind of polished it up. But by the start of the next stream, it's always usually finished. Anyways, let's give this a whirl. Yeah. Oh, Twitch chat for the win. Let's try it out. So you can see right now, reduce motion is off. So let's close this. We're gonna run our remove animations. Oh, so close. It did activate properly. Oh, okay. What do we got? Click the remove motion. Yeah, okay. Set the checkbox to reduce motion of window 1. Oh, what's going on? If value. Yeah, maybe the delay. Let's go delay 1. Yeah, let's try a delay in there. Nah. Close, but not quite. Yeah, so delete the end of. Just delete it altogether. All right. All right, got rid of the whole statement. That's interesting. Yeah, it's just not getting the checkbox over here. I think what we can do... Isn't there like a... I know I've never used this application before. But I want to say there's Automator, right? And I think this writes pretty much the OSA script. Have you guys ever used Automator? I think we can do like just say new document. Oh, can we do like a quick action? Or workflow. That's within Automator. This just feels jank. There's so much jankiness with this. Instead of a checkbox, it's a toggle. Let's... Yeah, it's so close. It's like right there. click switch instead of checkbox. It's doing a try on error loop here. Then it goes button, then it goes checkbox for fail box. Sure. At this point, I don't care. So it does a delay. We're in the accessibility tab. Click switch, reduce motion. On error, fail to a button. On error, fail to a checkbox. This is the thing I hate about LLMs. Like, that is such terrible code. But let's run it. I'm here for it. Let's go. I didn't even run at all that time. What? All right. Well, what happened there? Whatever. This is stupid anyways. Click switch, reduce motion of window 1. Now, let's actually go back a little bit before LLM decided to destroy it. Yeah. Okay. Let's redo. Yeah, let's just try this. We don't need a delay at the end here. Okay. No, keep that delay. You stupid LLM. But now it doesn't even want to pull up the settings menu. What? Okay. Why not? Did it change something else? Window tiling manager, what's your opinion? I think on Linux it's great. Like, you look at any of the Hyperland or like my personal favorite DWM, those work great. On macOS, I think some Mac users that are just adverse to trying any other operating system, and they're stuck on Mac for whatever reason, it can be okay. It just feels a little janky to me. Both Aerospace and Yabai, you can get them to a spot where it's okay. I think it's even good in some configurations after a lot of tinkering. I just don't think it's worth it because of how Mac changes the system from release to release, and inevitably those workflows will be broken in future updates. So adding these tools on top of the Mac ecosystem is just bad. Like, you either need to conform to Mac or switch to Linux. I don't think there's any in between for me. If I had 100% Mac all the time, there's just no way I could rely on like an Aerospace you buy configuration, and then I know it's going to just break into 1,000 little pieces when I do a big system update. And I just couldn't have that interruption in my workflow. Just my thoughts on it. And I would even say it doesn't feel very good when coming from a Linux tiling window manager to Mac. Same can be said for Windows. Windows tiling window managers, I think, are also, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. At the end of the day, it's still a pig, you know? How can I send you code? Yeah, Discord's good. I think we even have a section in the Discord for code. What was that? Was it? I thought we had like a stream channel or something, didn't we? Let's see. What was it? Don't make me a liar. Stream chat. Yeah. Stream chat. Yeah, you can just toss it into stream chat. What is wrong with current Mac window managers? It's not the window manager's fault. The Windows managers themselves, like Ubai and Aerospace, I think they're very well designed. I think they've done a great job with the limitations of the macOS ecosystem. The problem is they're building on the macOS ecosystem, so they can only be so good given the limitations of Mac. And I think Ubai does probably the most out of them, but because it does the most, you have to disable to get like extensions and other functionality to really try and elevate the game of Ubai. You have to disable system integrity protection, which if you're developing on Mac, that can be problematic. My God, my hair is crazy. But yeah. You aren't being very concrete. I think the big thing here, Phoenix, is like, oh, 1 second. Let's go Control 5. No, Control 4, 3. Whatever. Let's just put that over there for now. Let's come on to 5. Yeah, I think the big thing here, Phoenix, is this whole stream demonstrates the issues with setting system configuration in Mac. Like, there's certain things Mac will just update, specifically Sonoma and Sequoia. You can see they've really locked down universal access. And right now, what we're trying to change is just going between workstations without that reduced motion on. So to reduce the motion, you come into settings, come into accessibility, display, reduce motion. Great. So now we have reduced motion. And now it's a little bit faster. You still get that weird fade effect, but it's pretty good. To really disable this, we're right now writing an OSA script to kind of bypass it, but it entails opening up the system settings to set it for the user because it's locked down. Now, Aerospace and Ubai both have different ways around this. So you have that instant promising switch, but Ubai does it in a method, and I want to say when I was doing it, it was clean, but it's I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. It doesn't integrate with any of the Mac ecosystem, so it's sitting on top of mission control. So you have the Ubai or Aerospace executable, and it's like its own container space. And then below that, you still have all the Mac crap. You still have your title bar here at the top. Now you can auto hide it to try and kind of get it out of the way, but it's still there, much like Windows has the start button. And then on top of that, you have mission control that kind of integrates with all this. Now, mission control has its own desktop scheme as well that isn't integrated into Ubai or Aerospace. So you pretty much have to disable mission control. I think they also have stage manager too that can convolute this even further. And you don't have direct access to a lot of the system tools to remove some of the animations and other things as I've shown on this stream. So it's really just a compounding effect of different things happening here that leads me to say it's best to try and stick to the stock Mac experience. While that one may change in the future, the change is going to probably be slight, where it won't be breaking your workflow, where if you use like a Ubai or Aerospace and you do a bunch of system updates, you're going to probably have a bad time somewhere in the future when things change, because Mac has a history of changing where all these system settings come from and what they do. And it's not fun to set, where you have much more consistency in say like a Linux, where you can control a lot of these variables a lot better. I don't know if that was succinct enough for you, but that's about as best as I can put it. But I don't know how much you've messed with Mac. Buy me a Mac and I'll write a window manager. Yeah, I will say Aerospace and Ubuy, I think they do a great job with the limitations of the Mac. It's really impressive what they've accomplished. Yeah. macOS is the best of two worlds like Windows and Linux. It's very much like an in-between both of them. Yeah, Number Crunch. Oh my God, I remember playing Number Munchers on Mac. Oregon Trail as well, I believe. So good. There's probably a website to go there and get that. That was good times, man. Okay. You're an old geezer like me. It's fair. It's fair. It seems like the limitation shouldn't be able to worsen the experience of tiling. It's just implementing it well. Yeah, I think tying in both Mac and Windows has this problem. You're building on top of everything that's already there. You can't really replace it. And the thing I like about Linux is it's just there. You're using it as soon as your system boots up. Where with Mac and Windows, your system boots up and then it auto launches the window manager, and then the window manager kind of takes over as best as it can. Now, when you ever have like elevated prompts or and Windows specifically, like let's say you run terminal with admin privileges and it's run as a different user, the Aerospace, or well, in this case, it'd be like Glaze WM, but Aerospace would be the same way. Whereas if you elevate like a OSA script or whatever you're doing to get out of your user, all of a sudden they're not going to be able to control that application in a different user space because it's launched as an application. So that's just a downside to using Mac and Windows for tiling windows. Yeah, and maybe it's a skill issue, Phoenix. I just haven't seen any window manager like feel great to me, is all I'm saying. Yeah, and Mac does have a lot of tools, but yeah, and some of it is just a learning advantage. Like I haven't been on Mac very long, and I'm sure there's a ton more tricks that I'm just missing. This just did not work, by the way. Let's come back. This wasn't launching at all. Set the checkbox. So when I do this, it does get to that. I just want this to work. See, that does pull it up, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't pull it up when we use the other method. What if we do switch? So I don't think it's a button, and I don't think it's a checkbox, but when we set the value, the checkbox, I think we can click it. I think that would work, actually. Let's try that. Nope. Is that a button, maybe? Did that work? No, it's close. Reduce motion. Let's refer and ask. Change this to an ask. We're going to just say, what options do I have when for set the checkbox to button switch checkbox check Apple Docs. Yeah, and if I knew more about this script, this would go much faster, but this is like my first run at it, so you got button to UI element, general fallback, switch. This is incorrect. Check official documentation. You might be thinking, Chris, how do you know that's incorrect? It just looks incorrect. That's how I know.
Look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so...
Oh, sure. Thanks for joining the
Thanks for
YouTube
thanking
members. Okay, so based on Apple's official Apple script and system event documentation, the correct approach is to targeting the accessibility controls in system settings. Standard element type is checkbox button, usable for clickable buttons, but not for toggle checkboxes.
The dude abides.
Thanks for the prime there, Sib. So if the checkbox targeting fails, you might also use specific targeting like checkbox 1 of group 1 of window 1. Checkbox fails. What options? How do I find the correct one? Oh, nice. Using the guide to set up a new Windows 11 system. It's awesome, man. The problem is you're using Cloud, which is kind of dumb, especially during the day. Maybe try Grok 4. I tried Grok, Paul, and the problem I have with Grok is sometimes it's kind of a pain in the butt to switch between. I have Grok code fast here, but not great. Let's try GPT-5. But I do agree with you. It does seem like Claude's slipping. I think Theo made a video about how it just got dumber. Check the above context and correct the mistakes. All right, we're trying GPT-5, switching from Sonnet. Yeah, I don't really need it to write the code for me. I just need it to give me the correct references, because setting the checkbox is the one thing. It's getting to the proper settings menu. It's pulling it up properly. It's just not clicking the checkbox. So let's let it work a little bit and see if we can't get the proper reference. Of group 1 of scroll area 1. Ooh. Let's see. While that's working, let's look over here. So this is group 1. Scroll area 1. It's got to be something like that. think I broke it. So set the checkbox, which is the UI element, to checkbox reduce motion of window 1. But instead of this, we add UI element of scroll area 1 of group 1. So if we go group 1 of scroll area 1 of window 1, oh God. Oh wow, it was really thinking over here. What did it come up with? Good night. Look at all that code. But then it goes through all the containers. It goes through all of that. It goes through all the elements. Oh, that is so ridiculous. Well, when in Rome, let's go. It's gonna break everything. Let's go. Just accept it. Let's just take 5 lines of code that was close to being finished, turn it into 100 lines of code of AppleScript. Because why not? Sounds like a great idea. I bet you it doesn't work, but hey, let's try it out. It'd be hilarious if it did. Let's go. All right, closing it out. Let's see what error we get. Oh, not found. The reduced module control is not found. Error. Da, 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 da. Shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Full vibe mode. We're going full vibe mode now. I've lost all patience. This is a stupid amount of code for one toggle. At this point, I'm just like, let's have fun. It'll be fine. I'll probably end up reversing it all. Check the stream chat. What did we miss? Oh my god, my girlfriend just gave me her 2008 Windows 7 laptop to update to Windows 10. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, I wouldn't update it to Windows 11. You could go Windows 10. It's not end of life yet, but it will be next month. I probably, if you have to update, I always recommend a fresh install, obviously. Fresh install, just do the microwin route. But if you gotta do the update, I would probably update it, debloat it as best as you can, just do regular tweaks, and then try to remove as much bloat from the startup as you can go, and then just pray. I hate updating Windows. I never recommend it. Everyone hates reformatting, nuking, and paving, but I gotta tell you, I do it every week, every year without fail. There's never a time I just leave my Windows instance running forever and ever, except for this production PC, because I never touch it. It does the same thing all the time, and I never touch it. So this is the only one that I think I've left. Oh, geez, I got to check it now. Now that I say it, when was the official build time? I can tell you. So I've been running this PC just for my streams. That's all it does. Only one thing. And I think I've had to do one feature update on it, even with my security. So it's been going... two months. Never mind. I think I formatted this thing. Must have mentally blocked that. Never mind. Yeah, it's only been going for 2 months. Yeah. So, yeah, I always back up everything, and then when I run into problems, nuke and pave. And that's just Windows. Windows is not meant to be run for years and years without formatting and paving. It's just, that's just the nature of the beast, in my opinion. Not to say you can't do that, but you need to understand you're going to be sacrificing lots of performance. It's going to run worse than if you just did a nuke and pave. I like to squeeze out every ounce of performance I can from my systems. So debloating, optimizing, and to do it properly in Windows, it involves formatting your drive, wiping it all out, reloading it, putting your stuff back. I know that sounds awful. It's a necessity, though. I know I hate saying it, but it's the reality, you know? Water's wet, sky's blue, you got to format Windows. Pretty much yearly. Otherwise, it will run slower. If you're okay with it running slower, that's fine. But yeah. Getting back to your original question, Windows 10 using an update tool is probably the best case directly from Microsoft. Just go Microsoft.com, download the update tool, and it should update to Windows 10 unless they've removed that option. It's been so long since updated from Windows 7, I could not tell you. Windows 7's been end of life for 5 years now, so you are working on a very, very old system, my friend. Oh yeah, I did a fresh install, offline account, wiped and reformatted. Oh yeah, you're good then. You're good. Can you recommend a bare metal backup solution? Something old school like Norton Ghost, preferably not a Cronus. Yeah, Cronus is all subscription based now. So if you're looking for a backup solution, if you just want an image and you don't care about the GUI at all, and it's like, okay, probably Clonezilla. I've done a couple videos on, and it's a really good offline tool. That would be great. I know people hate Synology these days, but it does have a really good baked in bare metal reformat tool that does a full backup, and then you can throw it back on if you run into problems. I think it was like active backup, I think is what they called it. Other tools I've used in business for backing up large swaths of systems, Veeam was my go-to. Veeam was fantastic, and pricing wasn't awful, but this would have been 5 years ago. I think it was the last setup I did with Veeam, and Veeam was my go-to backup solution for mass systems on bulk. So take that with what you will. Hopefully they haven't gone too bad down the subscription model way of things. Any other backup solutions I'm missing here? I don't think so. Most of the other ones I've seen have not been great. So those would be like my 3 recommendations. If you don't want to spend any money, you just want a really quick open source solution that not the best looking, but you can do just like once a year, Clonezilla does a great job. If you want something that's a little more clean, that does multiple backups every week, and you're going to be doing this a bunch, honestly, a Synology box, just toss that in, back it up, use an active backup. Anybody can do that. Really, really a lot more user-friendly, a lot quicker. Just does it, and you kind of forget about it. If you want just a software solution that's also very good but clean, and you need it for more enterprise or a bigger environment, Veeam is probably my recommendation based on my experiences. I think those are pretty much should have you covered. All the other stuff you see on YouTube is going to be sponsored. And as a YouTuber, I can easily tell you there's a bias. Whenever you have a sponsored thing, the sponsors want you to speak well, and they're not going to pay you to speak ill of their product. It's just not a thing. So sponsored, most of the backup solution videos online are sponsored, or there's going to be a substantial kickback. So almost all videos online talking about backup solutions, specifically on YouTube, are trash. And yeah, that's just kind of what I thought from my experiences. Clonezilla is not user-friendly. I did make a video about it specifically because it's not easy to understand and it's not very intuitive, but it does work. I always repeat myself, Phoenix. You know me. Come on. Getting dementia over here. You guys are seeing it in real time. I'm about to give up on this damn thing. The Windows utility works just fine on Windows 10. Asher, that was originally what I developed it for. While you might get a couple more red error messages because those are Windows 11 features, like 90% of the tweaks still apply to Windows 10. So just keep running the utility. You should be fine. Ah, so close. So close. Anyways, this is trash. I am so done with this. I think I'll probably look at some kind of other automation on doing the system setting here. The main problem I have with Mac and doing it this method, why I wanted it all be done through CLI terminal, is anytime things are changed from a system settings perspective, it's going to ask you 3 or 4 times on Mac. Do you want to allow this? And then you have to go through your system settings, come into your applications, go into security. I think it's privacy and security. And then you're like, okay, grant this access to this system setting. And then if it's going to change a file, you're going to have to come in here and go to files and folders and grant it access there. And then if it's going to need access to something else in the system, it's going to prompt you for access there. Oh, the privacy and security aspect of a Mac is just maddening from a utility perspective. I like a challenge. I do like a challenge. But, I mean, my knee-jerk reaction to most of this today has been, I just want to rip out system integrity protection and just say screw it. But I know most people would be against that. Do you play on Final Fantasy 11 Horizon XI? I think I saw people on your GitHub that worked on it. Oh, yeah. Not too much on Horizon. I played retail for a long time, Asher. So I usually did like Rune Fencer and White Mage was like what I grew up on. So I still played Final Fantasy 11 retail up until this year. I quit a couple months back mainly because it was just taking up too much of my time. Can you check the value of the checkbox in your script? Yeah. We can do it. Oh, also, I did get your chat code here in the stream chat, Beige. Let me just pull in this this attachment, reduce motion text. Go Visual Studio. So this is what you've done for reduce motion script. So let's look through this. Did you test this out, Beige? Yeah, just system settings. All we're trying to do is, this whole stream has been about autoing the toggle of reduce motion in Sequoia. And somehow this turned from a one-line command to 2 revisions ago, whatever that was, but like Mojave or Catalina, I think even Big Sur, I think all that was still just one line. And then sometime around, I think it was Sonoma, everything just went to shit and just Apple decided to screw up all the system settings. So one line turned to 67 lines. Good night. All right. Let's just change this. Let's go file. I'll just make it like an SH script. Is there a way to turn this off? Like, oh god. Not without disabling system integrity protection. I already know the answer to this question, but whatever. Should work. Bad interpreter. Bash. Oh, there's no bash here. We're using ZSH. Is there no bin bash? Oh god, it's ancient. It's bash 3.2. That's right, it's a Mac. Ugh. All right. I guess I could update it through Homebrew. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I know this seems a little ridiculous, but once we figure out how to change the settings intuitively, we can redesign this to be like, hey, here's a utility app to make all the settings in Mac like usable, because it seems very convoluted where most of the settings are, and I think we could just make it much easier. Having said that, what's wrong with this? Other than we don't have bin bash. Yeah, they switched to ZSH because I think bash requires GPL licensing and ZSH is MIT. So ZSH Mac could get away with not contributing. And they could just pillage it as needed. Reap the benefits, you know. They're only a multi-trillion-dollar company. God forbid they have to contribute something back. Or pay a licensing fee. Not salty at all. I like bash a lot better than ZSH. I just do. But I know Mac people will be like, well, they chose ZSH because of it's just a better yeah, no they didn't. It's not a better shell. Bash is the best. Period. And I didn't include fish in this discussion because only autistic people use fish. All those Tylenol users. All right. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. Convert this to ZSH. Because it really shouldn't change much. The syntax, I don't think, changes very much from bash to ZSH. I think we just go bin-ZSH and then off you go. Although it might change some of the variable we feed it for the enable disable. You'd always use PowerShell on Mac. Oh my god. That would be hilarious. They do have a... I mean, you kind of are joking, but... I mean, I do know me some PowerShell. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't think the syntax would change at all, so... I don't see any difference between the two. Let's go ahead and apply it. But I believe ZSH would be the only change. Oh, no. In the AppleScript mode down here. It just puts it up here. Okay. Let's give it a whirl. What do we have for warnings? Shell check. We could just say make it POSIX compliant and just be like, screw it, but probably should have done it that way, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, let's just do that. That's why I kind of like just making all my scripts POSIX compliant, and then you're not having to worry about the shell at all. Using the env bash would probably be the best as well. I know I did install a PowerShell on Linux. So we could just do USR bin environment bash. I don't think that's gonna fix it for us. Let's give it a whirl though. I think we could just do ZSH actually. I don't think that would really cause much of an issue either. No such file or directory under ZSH. All right. We can try bash. Nope, bash, nope. It don't like either one of those. Yeah, ZSH feels a little goofy to me too. I think if you got used to all the little nuances, I think it'd be fine. All right, we're gonna just switch this to full POSIX compliance with a shell script instead. And just do a full, because this will work everywhere. It'll remove like the double brackets and we'll just omit all the bashisms from it. And then it'll work. Literal carriage. Let's do a filter active file only. All right, And then let's just take this. What are we doing here? Okay. Carriage, literal carriage return. I think we have a problem here. I think... Ah, okay. Yep. Then we can just run this command. Boom. Trash it. Let's come back into here. Did that not work? It did not. Oh, it said fixed. Okay, great. We should have just wrote it out instead of making a new file. Oh, man. Whew. Let's go. Reduce motion fixed. Yes. Open. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. There we go. Oh, but it didn't fix that, did it? Oh, weird. Whatever. It fixed it over here. Let's go remove. Reduce motion. .sh. Star. Move. Reduce motion fixed. Let's just make this executable. Nah, let's reduce that motion. All right, perfect. Enable. Hey! It didn't work, but we got a writable script now. Still haven't fixed the fixed motion issue. It's pretty hilarious at this point in time. It's an invalid index. Yeah, so the original thing, what we just did when we removed all that, there was these invalid carriage returns. It could have been a file formatting as well, so it just wrote out to a underscore fixed file. Then I made it executable, and then we ran it. So it's just like, there's a better way to do this. There is for sure a better way of doing this. I just don't know. It makes me think maybe there's an API, because Apple writes the Swift programming language. Maybe there's an API directly that ties into the system functions. And as much as I like to crap on like the Swift language and that type of thing, it might be worth looking into. It's like, you don't need this, just use default right. Ah, man, that's funny. I just spent 2 hours trying to get that working. But Apple sucks, and you can't do it that way with Sonoma. Sequoia anymore. You want to try a Python script for this? Dude, I'll try anything for this now. I literally think we just make a full-on Swift program. Surely they have an API or some kind of way to expose system settings, because that would be crazy if they didn't. It used to be just a defaults command. Now, doing it this method, obviously, it's just like not working for me. Yeah, the problem here, Phoenix, is we need access. We're getting gated. We are getting gated from access to these system settings. The language, I literally don't give a shit. It could be written in freaking COBOL. I'll learn COBOL and do it in COBOL if that's what they want. I just can't get access to change one stupid checkbox. And if I can't change access on reduced motion, we got problems. Yeah. It's just wild is all. Yeah, Jippity is just kind of stupid. Yeah, it just is like, oh, it'll just use defaults. It's fine. Just do defaults right. Yeah. Idiots. Spent billions, trillions of dollars on these LLMs, and yet it cannot understand, hey, you can't write defaults anymore with Sequoia and Sonoma. It just don't work. We've tested it extensively today. We can tell it doesn't work. It's crazy. I'm taking crazy pills. Ah. Yeah, I think that's true, Paul. I think doing a configuration, so some actual practical applications here, I think you could do it through a configuration profile, or even like an Ansible playbook would be another way of doing this. I think there's other ways around that. I guess I'm just taken aback by it should be a simple one-line defaults right command, as it's been for years and years. But after Sonoma, they changed access to that. And that's okay. And as we learn stuff, and there's a way we're overlooking here instead of just doing a full configuration profile. And it's just finding that method. There's got to be a method. And if there isn't one, I'm sure there's some API that exposes this stuff so we can write to it. At the very least, I think something in Swift would, because that's Apple's programming language. Much like when I write programs in Windows, I really like to do like C#, and I often get criticized for F#, but F# like a testing ground for C#. It's just like a functional C#. So, yeah. Odin has access to OS APIs. I doubt it has access to this. Big doubt it has access to this. I doubt Apple would open this up to any other programming language that they don't control. It does? The Ginger Bill said so? Really? Phoenix might be coming through here. Let's see. I would be shocked if it had access to write system settings. I would imagine Apple wouldn't want any other programming language to write to the system. I mean, I would love it. Like I said, I'll use anything. I don't care. But almost everything that I've seen so far has been like, hey, you got to do something. All right. Beige came through with another reduced motion written in Swift this time. All right, Swift came through. Let's pull that up. Now, I've never used or done anything in Swift. So this is going to be like a baby deer walking for the first time. But I'm not against that. Let's see. Let's see how much of a fool I can make out of myself looking at some Swift. Well, that looks pretty easy right there. Okay. So how do you run Swift? I want to try the Swift option first. If it's only 7 lines long, that's what I want. Like I said, that's the beauty of using Apple's stuff. What extension does Swift even use? All right. GPT-5, you've sucked so far today. You've been worse than Sonnet. Swift code. All right, let's see what we got. What extension and how to run Swift code is what I want to know. I don't know, guys. I'm still thinking GPT-5 sucks. I feel like Sonnet would have already gotten me an answer. Maybe I'm just a little quick to say that, but I feel like we should already be there. Like, this is really slow. This should be a pretty quick, like, come on. This was not a complex question. Hell, Twitch chat's gonna beat everybody to it. You broken? All right. Well, maybe I'm impatient here. Wait. Oh, here we go. Oh, install the Swift extension. All right, we're installing Swift. Swift. Let's fly. Caca. Like an eagle. Install the Swift toolchain. Verify Swift version. Let's do that. So there. Yay. Open up a single Swift file, your snippet. .swift. Oh, wow. Very original. All right. .swift. Boom. Ah, we got the bird icon now. Okay, great. Run the Swift package with run build task. Run. Build task. I feel like we missed a step here. That's not the right one. Okay. That is just running my other one. We are in the wrong code project. All right. did. All right. Ah, Phoenix. Let's see. Ginger Bill, creator of Swift. Phoenix got him on speed dial. All right, here we go. Old Ginger Bill. He's the creator of Odin. Unironically, if we had an entire Objective-C library and Odin's core vendor, Odin would be a better choice for Darwin development than Swift or Objective-C. We already support everything most people want. We even have native support for blocks now. Just support Objective-C madness. Okay. Well, great. If you can find how to set reduced motion in Odin, I'm all for it. Is it 7 lines long? Can we even run this? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. What is this anyways? Swift reduced motions. It's not even executable. Yeah, that still didn't answer my question. Let's switch to Sonnet. I think Sonnet 4 just does a better job, period. Even if it is gotten stupider. Singles.swift file. Code runner. This is just run Swift space in the thing. Or if you want to navigate to the directory first, just Swift and then Swift app. Okay. If you want to compile an executable, you can just do an out from Swift C. Okay. Well, let's try it first. Swift. Reduce motion is on. All right. And then run it again. Okay, that's on. Was there a toggle in this? I forget. All right, let's just this toggle for reduce motion. Okay, now we're going to just make it a toggle. So we're creating a class, setting the var reduce motion or should reduce motion to a bool value of reduce motion, and then toggle with the static function, toggle reduce motion, toggle to on or off. Then it checks the value. And let's see, someone's calling me. It might be HP. That'd be hilarious. Oh my God, it is HP. This is Chris. Yeah. Yeah. System board replacement. What time do you have available? Yeah, this afternoon works. How late are you gonna probably be out? I'm gonna probably be going somewhere at 4:30. Oh, okay, yeah, that should work. All right, sounds good. I'll see you here in a little bit. Yep. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, well, HP's coming out. That should be good. Oh boy. All right, let's try this again. We're running low. We gotta get going here. All right. Oh, look at that. That doesn't actually toggle. Goodness gracious. So the should reduce motion toggle bool. It does not toggle. This doesn't toggle. All right, we're just gonna toggle it multiple times. All right, let's go. I'm here for it. Let's just go agent here. All right, apply again. That's funny. You're absolutely right. Let's toggle it 3 times just to make sure. Oh my god. Whatever. I'm over it. All right, let's try it. So it just goes, initial app is on, then it turns it off, then on, then off. Reset to system setting on. What was the point of all that? That's crazy. That's so funny. All right, so reset to system setting. But why? Why? Okay. That's hilarious. Okay. Let's clear this out. Let's clear that out. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Let's just delete some lines of code. Now we do it. All right, so now it's off, but it's not off. Bro, why? Why doesn't this work? Oh man. Cursed. This is Sequoia. And it uses a different domain. Let's see if it can work out the different domain. I think it's just making shit up now. Maybe it can read all these and then decipher the reduced motion. I mean, this is a lot of what ifs. I haven't dealt with Swift enough. But if I was Apple, I would make sure, hey, yeah, this is version of Sequoia. Just call this reduced motion function, and then it would just change it based on the version you're on. That's why you would pick Swift for Mac usage. But yeah, alas, that's not what happened. Huh. Yeah, I think it's just setting the variable and doing it. The defaults right here, user set defaults. Where's the call? Like you import AppKit, which should grab the actual setting. Now, the setting it did at the very start was correct. Let's go. Let's erase it all. All right, we're starting over. Import app kit. Main. Strict my app. Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's a struct for main. Let's go. Display. Reduce motion setting in Swift. Concisely. I love that too, Paul. I love DHH's Omar Chi and what he's doing, pulling a bunch of Mac people over to Linux. All right, so here is what I want to do. I want to see if it can pull in the NS workstation, should reduce motion, and make sure that that's showing the proper value. Because if it's not pulling this value properly, then what's the point? So let's just make sure it can do that. So when we do this, reduce motion enabled, reduce motion user defaults disabled. So you can see right now it's disabled, but let's enable it, and then this second value should change to enabled. So let's change that. This is so silly though. Again, it should just be one little tick box there. Reduce motion disabled now. User defaults disabled. Okay. So now we're back to the regular motion. It does read it. So user defaults not needed. This one up here is the proper one. So set reduce motion to enabled. If boom. So in theory, this is, screw you, you stupid chat. This is how I think you should write it. Right? You check to see what the value is. If it is disabled, go ahead and enable it. And then print reduce mission is now set to enabled. And Swift doesn't look that bad of a language, actually. It's pretty readable. Ah. But you cannot assign that property. Oh. A get only property. God bless, man. Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me, Mac? I feel like it's just got a personal vendetta against me at this point. It's essentially just opening it up for them and going, change it yourself. This is the Mac approach. God. Oh, that's so stupid. Oh my God. I am done. I am so done. Reduce motion enabled. We just pull up the display and then tell the person to click it. That's the Mac way. Because it's a system setting. Fucking brilliant. What? Wild. Absolutely wild. I guess that's the solution. To set the system property for reduced motion without any user intervention. You pull up the settings menu for the user and say, click it. You can't set it, but you can pull it up to tell them to click it. God, I hope somebody sees this whole stream of me pulling out my hair and goes, Titus, you just need to grab this blah, blah, blah and bypass this and this, and then it sets it automatically. But everything I've tried has prompted multiple times for user intervention. It's almost like they hate the user and want them to click a whole bunch of crap that they don't care about, nor do they understand, just to get this one setting enabled. Oh, gosh. All right. Like, that's crazy. Anyways, the good news is we don't have to worry about this until next Thursday. And in the meantime, HP is going to be rolling up at my doorstep, apparently sometime soon. And we should have the main system back online for Linux on Monday. Ah, man, that'll be a nice palate cleanser when we're back on Linux. Looking forward to that. And then we'll do Windows Tuesday. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And hopefully someone sees this. We come up with a better solution. Odin, I'm good for. It's definitely a skill issue. But I'm not certain, Phoenix, on a Mac. Macs are just weird, man. They have some very odd security settings and ways of installing applications with it's very odd. Like whenever you go to install applications on Mac, instead of it just installing the application, it asks the user to click the folder and drag it over into the applications folder. Why is that even a step? That seems just stupid to me. But every Mac user has agreed that's just how it's done. It's how Apple wants it. That's how we've done it for years, and that's how it's done. And now it seems like whenever you change a system setting, at the very least, you're going to get prompted to make sure that has, you're going to get prompted several times to make sure the application you're running has authority to change that specific setting, instead of just changing the setting, which I get from a security standpoint. But if you get, like, in my eyes, you should just, hey, this is a system setting. Do you want to elevate this application to admin? And then once it has root access, then it should be able to do whatever the hell it wants. But it's much more granular on Mac to a maddening level. And I guess, that's just how it is. It just seems weird to me is all. Yeah. Well, uninstalling is not too bad. You open up the applications folder, you right click, you hit trash. So it's not bad. It compartmentalizes everything. So there's certain aspects of this that are good when it comes to Mac. It's just very different, very, very different. And yeah, some of it just seems kind of crazy to me, but it's fine. Yeah. With Xcode, developer settings, accessibility inspector, open settings, accessibility display, hover over the reduce checkbox. It will give the AX role, AX checkbox. Ah, okay. And then you can script it. Okay. Good to know. BRD. I know there's some easier stuff like that for managing some of these. And I just kind of want to put it into an application to where we can easily access these roles in a more intuitive fashion. I think we're still going to have to interact with some of the system functionality behind this when we go to enable these tools. But I think we'll get there eventually. It's just the initial breakthrough and some of the changes. It's just not necessarily as easy it is on any other operating system. Mac users will say it's good for security. Windows and Linux users are just going to say, yeah, that's stupid and it's very cumbersome. In this instance, I'd say both users are right. It's good for security, sure. It does give you a little more security, but it does at the same time annoy the hell out of the user. I just love how you do this stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like BRD. I throw it up. I'm very much a hobbyist at best. I do love it. I love kind of just thinking about some of the user experience and then going from there. So, alrighty, guys, I'm out of here. See you later. Next Monday. Next Monday, Linux. All right, y'all. Deuces.